ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first ever review on this channel for GFW Impact Wrestling. From now on, I'm going to start trying to do Impact Wrestling reviews, give you guys my overall insight and what I felt about the show and how it went down. It was a very short show, not much to say about it. There was 2 matches on the card. That's about it. A lot of hype building up towards the gauntlet match for the 20-man Royal Rumble finish for the vacated Global Championship, Global Force Wrestling Championship that was vacated on account of Alberto El Patron's private life being a major issue, and they turned it into an actual thing. In the sense of he had bad publicity, he was stripped of the championship and suspended indefinitely off of television. So, we no longer have a GFW champion at this point until this episode. This episode took place August 24th on Pop TV, and the very first match of the show was OVE with Dave Crest and Jack Crest versus the Heat Seekers, which is Elliot Russell and Sigmund. Nothing much to remember here, no big deal. OVE wins the match. Okay match, give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. A little bit of hype here and there, small promo there. They had Grado come out, and he was announcing that he was no longer going to be in America and perform on American soil because he has a problem with his visa being able to perform in the States unless he was to get married. Well, apparently some other woman that he was trying to ask marry him came about. She had dramatical problems based on the fact that Braxton Sutton, was supposed to marry her and turned her down, so she turned into a raving lunatic from that point on. And she decides to marry him and gets on her knee and asks and proposed to him to stay in America and marry her. Which was very fucking weird and pretty fucking retarded. But, moving into things. The main important thing that took up most of the entire show, almost a whole hour, this match went on. It was the 20-man Royal Rumble vacated championship match, with the last 2 competitors, with it being a pinfall or submission. It turned it into a regular match, which I think is something that should be utilized in the Royal Rumble for WWE to give a legit win to someone who actually lasted, with the 2 people lasting at the end of 30 men. At the end of a Royal Rumble, it should be the last 2 men competing in a regular match. That's how I feel it should be. And that would be a great thing if they altered that that rule in the Royal Rumble in WWE, if they were to do that. But getting into things, the people that performed in this match was Eli Drake, Braxton Sutter, Chris Adonis, formerly known as Chris Masters, Eddie Edwards, El Hijo del Fantasma. Who gives a shit about that guy? Never heard of him. Ethan Carter III, Fela Ba and Garza Jr., Johnny Impact, formerly known as John Morrison. He's now in GFW, formerly known as TNA. Kind of a weak thing to be calling him Johnny Impact. He used to go by Johnny Nitro, using WCW's former name. Now they give him the same ratty, crappy, joked out thing, call him Johnny Nitro. Wow. Fucking pathetic way of looking at things. But, regardless of the name, John Morrison, known as in GFW now, Johnny Impact, did very well in this match. Very impressive, as usual. He's a talent that WWE should have never given up and at least given a championship run with. And I think this guy is a very outstanding performer. He did well in this match, regardless of the fact that he did not win. He wasn't even the final two. He was down to the final three. But good thing on GFW's part to give him that kind of credibility to have him last that long in the match. They also had Kingston, I don't know who the fuck he is, KM, Congo Kong, Bobby Lashley, Loki, Mahabal Shera, Marlo Bakara, Moose, Richard Justice, Suicide, and Tajia Osama. Well, just to name off the list of these guys, majority of them had no right to even be in this Royal Rumble match to be determined a World Heavyweight Champion. But granted, with GFW, formerly known as TNA's roster, they don't exactly have the biggest names in their company. Now, if you paid attention to GFW slash TNA at the time, and you checked out some of their stuff for the last year or so, you would know some of these names. Some of these names I do not know. I just recently seen them on this episode. Was I impressed with this match? Well, it was average at best when it came to the overall match itself, but when you narrow down the talent, the crappy talent that was in this match, and you just have it where it's just the guys that were the main stars of this for the championship, it was pretty good. If you could have gotten a little bit more star power in this event, it would have been a really good match. But granted, with the limited talent and budget that they have, they don't exactly have the biggest names in this company. At the end of the day, Eli Drake, one guy that I have been very high about. He used to be on he was a tag team. He was actually in a tag team in 2004 and 2005 with a 1950s greaser type of look, where he had a manager with a female in a dress, and she was on roller skates, which was kind of interesting. I think it was Deuce and Domino is what it was called. I think he was called Deuce, and he was in WWE at the time as a tag team partner. He actually won the tag team titles at the time. And now he is a world champion in GFW. He is an impressive character. I like the way he is. His wrestling ability is up to par. It's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's decent. Eddie Edwards was the other person left in this match, so those two went at it. And it was a really decent match. I was very impressed by both competitors at the end of the match. And, Eli Drake walked away as the winner. Eddie Edwards, he's a fantastic talent. It's a shame that Davey Richards is gone from GFW and so on. They did an outstanding job as tag team partners as the Wolves, and I was very impressed with their ability as tag team partners, and seeing them as opponents at the time, just a month or two ago, because I did watch a little bit of it. I was very impressed, very much. I was very, very impressed by the last man standing match that these two had. So, it was pretty decent work done by both of these guys, and Eddie Edwards was a one-time TNA World Champion, beating Bobby Lashley the episode after um, the Bound for Glory pay-per-view that EC3 had an opportunity for against Bobby Lashley and unfortunately lost. But this was, regardless of the fact that Eddie Edwards did not win, it was a very well put together performance. I believe that these two will go at it again and should go at it again in a regular one-on-one match. So I definitely think that this will go somewhere down the line. I think in the next episode we might see another title defense, or we may see other things occur to determine a new number one contender for the GFW Championship. Jim Cornette's back in TNA slash GFW, and he's now the head general manager, producing the matches, setting up the matches, and so forth, talking and interacting with the talent on the television, and so forth. So, Jim Cornette's an interesting character. As long as he's not getting involved in the action that goes on the ring, he's not doing any screw job deal. He was once part of TNA at one point, and he was a GM. He played a GM role in TNA at the time, before Hulk Hogan came about, and so on. But at the end of the day, it was still, it was good. I enjoyed watching Jim Cornette have a role in TNA, and now with him being in GFW, it should be very entertaining again. Um, but at the end of the day, this event, this match itself, although it was a 3.5 out of 5 stars because of the match that Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake had with each other in this match. I was very impressed with these two, and all power in the world to these two guys. Bobby Lashley is looking like he's going on the downward spiral and maybe going out of the company as well, because it looks like he's being dragged out of GFW at this point. I'm not quite sure. I hope that's not the case, because he is their version of Brock Lesnar. And he's a very he's a great performer. I would love to see Bobby Lashley go up against Brock Lesnar at a WrestleMania pay-per-view. That would be big money. Those two guys are outstanding athletes. They're both freaking MMA fighters, for God's sakes. Now, granted, Bobby Lashley hasn't won a UFC championship belt, or have done anything as title winning is concerned, or even get a title shot in his weight class. But he has a decent record in mixed martial arts, and he knows mixed martial arts very well. He's trained in it, and he's good at it. So, to be quite frank with you, those two to go at it at a WrestleMania pay-per-view would be outstanding to see. And, Bobby Lashley would make a ton of fucking money in comparison to what he's doing with GFW, but at the end of the day, he is their top star, and he should be eventually a champion once again. EC3 in this match, it was surprising to see him go so early. Well, not early, but in the sense that he did not last as long as he should have. He should have been in the final four, but he wasn't, unfortunately. I don't know why that was the case, but it is what it is. He wasn't even in the final five that was in this match. Low key, he was supposed to get a championship match up against fucking Alberto El Patron for the global championship, and he did not get that because of what El Patron did in his personal life. So he is no longer part of the championship picture. Low key is put in a shitty situation. He was given the last entrant in the match, and yet still did not even come close to being even the final two or even final four guy in that match. So again, some of the ideas and thoughts behind some of what they did here was not exactly intelligent. But I mean, is it more? It's more doable to watch than WWE Raw for 3 hours because one, you can go ahead and only have to watch this for an hour and 30 minutes. And I watched this on a website off of allwrestling.org, and was able to skim through some of the things I wasn't interested in anyway. Um, I did watch Raw and SmackDown. I will admit that, but I did it on that website. I was able to skip through things I wasn't interested in, and that's basically it. So that's what I've been doing. But at the end of the day, is GFW great? No way. Do they have an alternative to watching WWE wrestling? Yes, in a sense, they do. Fact being, if you don't watch them on Pop TV and you want to maybe skip some things you're really not all that interested in, definitely recommend it. Um, but if you're a big fan and you don't care and you want to just watch anything that's not WWE, this is the thing for you. ROH, New Japan Wrestling, three big companies that you can watch that people have heard of. So anyway, guys, at my personal opinion, overall, this episode was an average show, 3 out of 5 stars. Nothing big happened, but it was pretty good to watch a championship match on national television, and it was enjoyable. So that's all I really can say about that. Anyway, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit the like button if you like the video, and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Speak to you later. Bye.